So one little thing you noticed in that clip is I have a tachometer. I had a tachometer hooked up to the engine on the Sawmill. And what you didn't see, and I probably should have left it on there, but the tachometer wire, I wrapped it around the spark plug coil wire here about 5 or 6 times. And that, from what I read, that type of a tachometer is a bit more accurate than just one that you hold over the engine. I don't know enough about that to know whether that's 100% true or not, but I read that on a lot of reviews of the different tachometers. And the importance of checking that on occasion is you want the engine speed to be at a certain RPM to get the best quality of cut from the blade, so you don't get a lot of chatter. So if the engine's RPM isn't at its ideal level, which is actually for this engine it should be 3,600 RPM. I think the max recording, because I ran it for a couple of cuts, was 3,680. So we're spot on at full throttle, which is what you want to do when you enter the log. If it's a lot lower than that, you're going to get a lot of uneven performance from the blade. You'll get a lot of chatter on the cut. Puts a little more strain on the engine. So not a bad thing to check if you have a Sawmill. There are a number of adjustment screws that will affect the RPM, how the throttle handle is positioned. That can be adjusted by either advancing or backing out an idle screw. So something just worthwhile. It's not very expensive. You can find them anywhere, Amazon, eBay, or whatever. But I wanted to explain why I did that. Hey everybody, John here. Welcome back to Catbird Hill. Another day of sawmilling. Today was only 94 degrees and it's actually clouding up a little bit right now. And there's probably about a 60% chance of some good thunderstorms rolling through starting probably now, which is why I'm going to wrap this up. But we definitely need the rain, but it was a great day to do something that wasn't real heavy-duty exertional in this heat. So I decided to fire up the sawmill again. You saw that grubby little chunk of wood that I had on there. It was about maybe 4 feet long, and this was the remnant of an oak tree that was cut down probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I totally forgot that I had this section. It was actually buried under some other logs. So I was cleaning up that area where it was stored the other day, and I said, you know what, let me just, for kicks and giggles, let me open it up. And I think, well, I'll share with you one of the reasons that I was so interested in looking at it, opening it up and seeing it on the sawmill, was the fact that it had a sort of like a co-dominant branch or 2 leaders here. And I thought that might be very interesting from a grain perspective, and it is. There's actually a pretty significant defect or fissure here between those 2 trunk leaders. And unfortunately, I think what had happened, and one of the reasons why we took the tree down, is that it was dying. I think that there was probably some disease or something that was going on in here, because this fissure is soft. And what was starting to happen as I was slicing through this, as I would pull the slabs off, and I don't think you saw it in the video, but they were just literally splitting apart. So what I ended up with were, the split pieces from where the fissure had formed. But I was curious about the grain and the fact that, I don't get that kind of a log every day. And this was really cool, where you could actually see a branch extending out. So I don't think there's much I can do with this wood. A lot of it's rotted. I might try to carve out, some of the center here. I might try to save that. Maybe do some epoxy to fill in some of these holes. It might make a pretty cool cutting board. One of our family members is a really accomplished woodworker, and he makes excellent cutting boards. So there might be something that he could salvage out of this. But other than that, it probably was just an exercise in curiosity, but that's okay. It only took me about 10 to 15 minutes to do this, so it was a nice little diversion. And look how red-orange that sawdust is. Don't usually see that color, particularly for white oak, but I think this is so old and it has degraded so much that, everything's starting to change inside. So you win some and you lose some, and that's okay. Not every log is going to be a, showcase log that has amazing grain and crazy figuring and stuff. Sometimes you'll get a dud, but I can't expect much. This thing has been on the ground for 4 years. I did have it propped up on some 4x4s, but nonetheless it was buried, and it was a perfect opportunity maybe for some ants and insects to get in there and start eating away. And so if anything, we gave them a nice home to live in for about 4 years. So that's it for today. I just wanted to do a quick milling video trying to take advantage of some cloudiness in the midst of all this unbelievable heat. I hope everybody's okay out there. I know a lot of the country's in the grips of this heat wave, and I think we've got about another 4 or 5 days of it here in the mid-Atlantic area. But beat shoveling snow. So thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, John here from Catbird Hill. Take care.